Oh. Do we? Stop. Thank you.
Hi or hey?
Either one. Or do you prefer?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh my god.
So, I hope I'm in focus.
Yeah, I mean, it would be terrible if it was just me. You were blurry. Welcome back to Is Anyone Else Confused? A podcast with me and my furry friend. And I'm not talking about TV.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
What's my line?
Welcome to Is Anyone Else
Sorry.
Confused? Do you want me to do it?
No, because then we'll have to switch everything. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Is Anyone Else Confused? We're your hosts, Cheyenne
And Alana. And Is Anyone Else Confused will focus on navigating young adulthood and the many feelings that come along with it.
Each week we'll cover different aspects of growing up.
We'll chat all things professional to private, LinkedIn to Bumble, debt to financial freedom, and mental illness to mental health.
So grab a snack, grab your antidepressants, and let's get into the nitty-gritty.
I like it!
Okay, let's do it. That's pretty good.
Oh, pretty good.
Do you want to do one more?
Do you like that?
What are your thoughts?
So tell me a bit about yourself. What do you like to do for
So
fun?
what do you do on the off times?
Not cry.
Right. We have recorded the intro 17 times now. We're hoping one will work, and if you're seeing this, we were successful.
Yeah, then we found one. Or if you're seeing this and this is the beginning of the podcast, then we weren't
didn't.
successful.
Tune in next week. We'll find something. Okay, so
We have our notes
Yeah,
in front
this
of
is
us.
scary, a little bit intimidating, but
Yeah.
we're doing it. So hello to Mom and all of Mom's friends
From
who
Facebook.
I'm sure are watching right
Or
now.
listening.
Please.
Feels like a first date, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit...
It is a first date,
Yeah.
isn't it? We've spent 45 minutes looking at ourselves
And not
instead
the
of the lens.
Yep.
So sorry we haven't been making eye contact with you. That's a bit rude. Do we want to just kind of chat about what we're going to chat about? Leave them as like a little bit of a teaser?
I guess so. A little
Okay.
bit of an intro teaser.
So what made you want to start this podcast with little me? Do you want to say it on 3?
I don't know.
You just gotta do it, buddy. We don't have to put it out if you don't like it. It's just a trial run.
I don't know, I'm a little bit
Humor shy?
a little bit shy.
Do you want me to start it? Counselors, but I think they all just... Oh my god, is that a spider? Do you see it?
Yeah, I'm just watching it though.
Okay, we'll just keep an eye.
I think it is.
I was about to go...
That's a rude answer. Well, I think like the name kind of sums up what we wanted to talk about, because I think, I mean, I keep looking at the spider. I'm a third-year university student, and I feel like I graduated 3 days ago, and I feel like...
From high school, you mean?
Yeah, and I feel like there is no guidance for us as young people, and I think as people in general, I think there's people well into their 50s who are unfulfilled and don't know what they want to do, and I think, and I hope that this kind of inspires people to take control of their life, not to sound like a...
And even to be
life coach.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And I think
Being
that,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. To be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think that, you know, thankfully I had you, and I had a lot of people in my life that I could turn to and be like, hey, this is rough, or this sucks,
And
or I don't know what I'm
Do you feel
doing.
like that? Because
Yeah.
it's so easy to look at social media and be
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, everybody has it together. Like,
Yeah.
they're getting engaged, they're having babies, they're buying
Mhm.
houses, and like...
Getting cars.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, that's kind of where Is Anyone Else Confused comes from, because I remember just sitting in a classroom and, like, I mean, especially in university, sitting in a lecture hall and, like, looking around, and everyone looks like they know exactly what's going on, and you're just completely lost. And I think, in a way, that's a really good metaphor and analogy for life. I mean, I sometimes look around, especially on social media, and I'm like, are you guys not confused.
Yeah,
or
is
lost.
nobody else having struggles or hard times or, you know, there's so much going on behind the scenes, but it's kind of like, why do we keep it all behind the scenes? Like, social media is so great for sharing, but I think it's equally important to share the lows as it is the highs. Yeah. Like, it's not all, like, sunshine and rainbows. Right now, I've returned to school, but nobody sees that, like, I dropped out before, right? They just see, like, oh, you're in school now, and, like, you're starting your own business, and, like, we're starting this podcast, but it's not something that just started overnight. And I think a big part of it is finding your passion after high school, because I think for both of us, we loved acting and finding a love outside of an activity you've done for 4 years, right? Like
4 years plus, because I did it in middle school too. And I think being encouraged and inspired to chase your passion and not just become what people want you to become. I think living an authentic life is kind of something that isn't as encouraged as it should be, I guess. I think you start to live to please everyone else or those people around you.
It sounds so cliche, but it's so easy to get caught up in, like, the career hunt and, like, money, especially. I think that's something we'll spend a lot of time talking about is, like, our relationship with money and how that's changed and how unhealthy or healthy we find money in general and, like, relationships or attachment to it, like,
and even building a relationship with money. I mean, building that, like, comfort and that willingness to talk about money in general. I think it's, like, a hush-hush topic, and
it's something that I've been very adamant about, like, discussing for a while now. And the same way, like, I try to keep that channel open to you and hopefully to you guys about, like, how do we deal with that? And it's something that we'd like to bring people on to speak about. Like, it's not just going to be the two of us every week. We hope to have other people on the podcast that,
they're
like,
not that interesting.
Want to talk. So I think we're just kind of rambling at this point, but, like, we're going to be chatting money. We're going to be chatting school. We're going to be chatting career and passions outside of your job, because I think that is so fundamental to your success.
And just to, I mean, bring it and kind of make a broad point, I think we mentioned this before, but just womanhood and existing as a woman and broadening the spectrum of what it means to exist as a woman. And I think that that's really important to, especially now as we get into a time where womanhood is so broad, even in its definition.
And inclusive,
that I think I would love to not only discuss it with you, but have people on the podcast who, you know, have different definitions of what exactly it means to be a woman and how that's affected their life. And
we have so many ideas, because we even want to bring in people, like, that are at different stages in their womanhood. Like, we have the most incredible mom who we'd like to bring in and kind of talk about.
That'll be a 2-hour potty. She's got a lot.
She's going to be a weekly guest.
She is a fountain of wisdom, for sure.
But we would like to hear from her and her perspective. And additionally, like, one of my closest best friends just had a baby. She's in her 30s. And, like, that's a very different life experience as a woman and as a mother to my life experience as a woman and
Not
a dog
yet a
mom.
mother.
Right? Like, so I think there's so much to talk about. Like, we have my laptop sitting here and, like, just looking at the topics that we want to cover. Like, friendship is a huge thing.
Friendships and finding friends and making friends.
And community. Like, finding where you feel value and where you feel like you matter. Because that's so hard to do outside of high school, or like your work setting, where you're with the same people every single day for a certain amount of time, and no matter what group it is, you're gonna find some sort of commonality, right? But what happens when you're not at work or you're not at school? How do you make friends with similar interests, with similar passion and drive that are into the same thing as you? Like, I think it's easy to make, like, friends who want to party, but who are the friends you want to, like, hang out with on, like, a Thursday, you know?
I think mental health and
It's
mental
gonna be
illness
huge,
is huge for us.
Yeah.
I think especially for me more so. I mean, you have had your struggle with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big aspect of our life as well, and I think of a lot of people's life that is also, I mean, just like money, like hidden behind closed doors, and I don't think it should be hidden behind closed doors. And I mean, going back to womanhood, I think men and women have such different experiences of what it means to have or to value your mental health or to take care of your mental illness, and I think it's important to touch on that as well.
I mean, another thing that I'm just looking down at is body image and how to cultivate a healthy sense of self-worth. Self-worth? That sounds funny.
That's like when I say 12.
12 at the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of, you know, not becoming a machine for your career, contrarily, building your career. On the contrary, building your career and networking, and I mean, we say it in our intro, everything from LinkedIn to Bumble, and you know what it means
also
to
kind of
build
like and setting challenges, I think, for ourselves. Each episode is a great way to hold each other accountable, because eventually you're going to need to build your LinkedIn and I'm going to need to build a Bumble, and we're going to have to
yeah,
like,
literally.
I think there's great ways where we can, like, encourage ourselves and whoever's listening to do something for themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, overall, for me, I was thinking about this today because I knew we were going to record, but I think a lot of the time, I mean, for me personally, when I follow an influencer and the influencer is like, I want to use the platform I have to raise awareness for X, Y, and Z. And then they make one post about X, Y, or Z, and then it's back to the selfies, back to the before and afters, back to the whatever. But I think everyone has a platform. You know, you don't need to have 1 million followers to have a platform.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, the platform that the everyday person has is way more influential than the platform that an influencer would have.
That's an interesting perspective.
Because I think that, although we don't have a huge platform, I think the platform we have is a lot more real and a lot more applicable than someone living in Los Angeles in $1 million condo. You know what I mean? And I think opening the channels of discussion between person to person as opposed to influencer to person is really important.
And there's definitely value in the saying, and I guess that's why it's such, like, a common saying, that, like, if you do something and it changes one person's life or one person's perspective or outlook, view, however you want to say it, then you've made a difference. I hope that's what this podcast does. And I mean, it's sounding really heavy, but she's really funny. Like, you're gonna laugh on this podcast. Like,
yeah, I know it sounds so like depressing,
so serious, and so, like, she'll probably spend half the time talking in a British accent. Sometimes we slip into it without even knowing.
And I think also, it's important to have these discussions and not make them depressing.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of our life was.
As people who both struggle with depression and anxiety, it's very easy to find that hole and sit in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've both struggled with in our early 20s, is sitting in that feeling of sadness and feeling of isolation and loneliness and trying to pick ourselves up and fight our way out of that, right? Because it really is a fight. Like, it's not something that's just, I'm not sad anymore. Like, you really are taking the time and doing the work.
And I want this podcast to be something that encourages people to dig themselves out of the hole. Because I would have killed for something to help me get out of the hole. And even now, I think this is something that helps me get out of my personal, like,
yeah, I mean, turning
struggles.
on the camera today was so awkward, but, like, we did it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing to be proud of for the whole week. Like, it kind of shifts your whole perspective and your whole setup for the rest of your day, week,
But long story short, it's not going to be depressing. And it's not going to be sad. And hopefully it's not going to be anxiety-inducing. But it's going to be real.
But we're going to go there, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be real. And there's going to be parts of it that are
uncomfortable
and vulnerable and deep. But I think that's important. And I think that if there's one thing that always happens in our family, we get to those points and then we bring it right back up and we make a joke and we smile and we laugh. And I think I want to bring people into our family via the podcast. I want to have those conversations and then I want to joke about it. You know what I mean? And I was just having that conversation the other day with another girl that I know, and you know, I was saying that the conversations you have with people are all that's going to be left of you at the end of the day.
How to make them feel.
Yeah, and I think that that's what we want to do. We want to have those discussions and those conversations, and we don't want it to be uncomfortable or awkward for people to bring up. A safe
and we're
space.
not, like, we're speaking, I guess, in a way that sounds like, well, they really think they're going to, like,
change the world.
Yeah, but I think it's important for us that even if one person listens and finds value, that's amazing, and that's what we want. But we also know that there's value in us just speaking to this camera and like having these conversations without the stress of texting back or sending a tweet or posting on Instagram. Like, just to sit in these conversations and really work through them, exhaust them, is something I look forward to. Because no matter what, we can take this camera anywhere and film when we feel like it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's all, folks.
now we've got to get the funnies going. I think, God, how many times have we said I think in this? Editing this will be like
painful.
But anyways, we know this was like a podcast about nothing, but we hope
to make it a podcast about something.
So what do we need from you? We need you to like it, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell,
download the episodes on Spotify,
leave a review on iTunes,
follow the Insta at Is Anyone Else Confused,
like our posts, comment. We need that engagement, people. Send it to your friends, post it on your stories, send us an email if you want us to cover anything, or a DM. Next week we're not going to turn the viewfinder around, so we have no choice but to look right at the lens.
I know.
And I know you know. And I know you know. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No. I just hope that they give us a shot. Give us a shot.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to our first ramble. I'm sure
our little intro.
5 episodes in, we're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we released that.
100%.
We're going to spend more time looking at the lens next time.
Yes.
Room for improvement always.
Leave a critique in the comments.
Leave some constructive criticism for us.
Signing off.
We love you. I feel like we really should say we love you because that's not said often enough.
Deep. In case no one told you, we love you.
Yeah.